Good morning. Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 447. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 report. Thank you very much for tuning in my degraded network studio since my fiber has been down since Saturday, and in about 2 hours from now, T-Fiber is supposed to be out to fix it. But in the meantime, it keeps getting worse and worse. As I explained during JP's morning brief this morning, I can't print now. So it just keeps getting worse because my printer is a wireless printer. But believe me, I know, because I attempted to attach a USB to USB cable. No joy. Okay. I also went and tried to do an Ethernet. No joy. They even put a cap on the thing. It says Wi-Fi only. So that being said, I'm stuck. So what I'm doing is I'm going off my computer screen to do this. So it'll be all right. It'll be a little bit slower. At least with the RAN update in America 250, I didn't have to print nothing out. Most of my announcements and stuff. So I basically know where I'm going and stuff. I was able to print one story out, which is probably the biggest story that's out there right now. It's about Joe Biden, and is the only thing it would let me print. I have a very conservative printer, I think, because he should have been 25th Amendment out of office. Cannot believe they tolerated that kind of deal. But we'll get to that in just a few minutes. All right. But yeah, so my internet appointment, my T-Fiber appointment is at 10 a.m. Central Time. So I just got to be patient for 2 more hours. It'll be all right. Tomorrow morning, I'll be back to normal. Believe me, I just increased my paper count I use HP all-in-one plan, which gives me a printer and 1,500 pages of paper now per month, because I was using about 800 pages total. So I was like, I need a new one because I didn't want to pay all extra surcharges. So I upped it to 1,500, and I told my wife over Friday, I said, hey, I just increased our plan. You can print as much as you want now. We got plenty of print. And then the internet went down. And so, whoo, doggy. My printer likes it because it's not being worked. It's a liberal printer now, but to a point. The internet's liberal. The printer is conservative. All right. So before I get into the rest of this, there was a couple hours ago, there was a 7.1 magnitude earthquake in Japan and on the southern islands. I don't know if it was by Honshu or what, but they said there was some damage. They did show damage on TV. They haven't said anything else. This morning, the president is meeting Bibi before they go to the memorial ceremony for Senator Graham. And he's also supposed to meet with Vladimir Zelensky today also. And just a few minutes ago, the president was on Fox and Friends. All right. So welcome to the JP8 report. Let's make it as positive purpose. Hey, I got people online. That's great. All right. Hey, if you like to chat, jump in and chat with me. I'll talk to you through the podcast, or if I'm able to, I can type out some if I can. I don't have my tablet because it's disconnected because I want to save as much bandwidth as possible. All right. Give me a thumbs up, like for the episode today. Have mercy on me and give me a thumbs up, like, please. And then to follow, if you would like to follow the podcast to see my antics on my daily podcast. See, I'm laughing at it, guys. Okay. Click on the bell and then scroll down and click on the word follow, and you'll be able to get this stuff every day when I do podcasts like last night. And I would appreciate that. Thank y'all if you subscribe or follow the podcast. It's free. Yesterday, I posted a podcast after hours at 6 p.m. Central. It was geopolitical implications of the red-green axis. It was from Dr. Fulmer. He spoke to us on Saturday at Coryell County Republican Women. It was about 45 minutes long. It was very informative. He has his own Rumble account. He only has 36 followers on it. I wish I could help him on that part. Um, but he did give me permission to record it and post it on my own podcast, and I did. And there's been 101 people so far watch it as of about 15 minutes ago, which is good. I hope a lot of people get watch it. He's got a lot of good programming. He just needs a little bit of support. All right. But so that's that. And now America 250. So on July 28th, 2026, Confederate Army troops at Fort Ticonderoga and Fort Independence finally heard the Declaration of Independence read out loud for the first time. All right, so that is your America 250 moment for the day. Now we got the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason Jason can handle those classes, both internet and in person. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop. Your safety is our priority. All right. Thank you all for that. Let me get set. All right. So now we got the Iran update. So as of now, it just came out that Iran can't pay its soldiers. If you can't pay your soldiers, what I've learned is you don't have soldiers, because they walk off the job. Go back to, we've been going through the American Revolution, and that has been one of General Washington's main concerns. Enlistments running out, not being able to re-enlist soldiers because of lack of pay, and soldiers going without pay 2 and 3 months and then leaving. All right. So it's a serious matter, not our concern, because we pay our military. Iran's going to have a serious problem because they won't have no protection, can't defend their borders. Which the biggest thing that the Iranians fear right now, they fear us because we're totally obliterating them. But in the northwest part of the country, they have Kurdistan, and they will come in and take territory. All right. Israel plans to show the U.S. new intel showing Iran is planning to use the Pickaxe Mountain facility. He's going to show that to the president before the memorial ceremony of the day. Oil continues to fall. Iran and Oman came to an agreement yesterday on the shipping conditions in the Strait of Hormuz. They agreed to allow everyone to use the central transit point in between the strait. All right, which is probably causing the stock market to go up and for causing the oil prices to continue to drop. Yemen's foreign minister says Houthis plan to seize the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb. That is the opening for the Red Sea. That won't be tolerated. Trump says the U.S. has the upper hand against Iran and that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon. Iran calls President Zelensky of the Ukraine a clown. Bahrain is going to hold joint military exercises with the Gulf states. If you didn't know who the Gulf states are, that would be the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. All right. Pakistan condemns the drone attack on Saudi Arabia, and Iraq says it will not allow its territory to be used for strikes against anybody anymore. And that's in response. There was a drone launched from a militia inside of Iraq from Iran, and it was shot down over Jordan, which if that would have made it to Israel, it would have sparked an all-out fight. All right. And then the Dow Jones yesterday closed up 262.83 points. The Dow Jones was at 52,210.08. West Texas Intermediate, about 45 minutes ago, was at $81.84 a barrel, and Brent crude oil was at $87.27 a barrel. All right, that is your Iran update. Let's go through our announcements before we get into the JP8 report. First one, August 6th. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. First one is the day. Coryell County Republican Party is meeting at 6 p.m. tonight at the junction of Route 36 in Gatesville, Texas. For CEC, it's going Route 36 north of Gatesville, about 2 miles. It's on the left. Norm Mitchell is our party chair. On our agenda is the fish fry, the gun range, and some bylaw changes. So that's this evening at 6 p.m. I'll be there. I'm a precinct chair. Next is Pints and Politics in Belton at the Dead Fish Grill on the 6th of August at 6 p.m. That's brought to you by Elephant and Root Strategies with Chip Howell. All right. August 11th is Coppers Cove Conservatives Club. I don't have the placard for it yet. I will when after I get my internet fixed. That is going to be 11th of August, 6 p.m. at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove. The next one is Boots and Bling from the Coryell County Republican Women, which is going to be on the 22nd of August in Gatesville at the Texas Station Event Center at 305 Old Fort Gates Road in Gatesville. Awesome place to go to. It starts at 6 p.m. The Texas Connection Band is going to be there. The key speaker is Steve Munisteri. He works for Governor Abbott. If you want tickets, you go to the QR code or the link. All right. I put the link in the description of the podcast toward the bottom of it. You have to click see more. All right. Next announcement is the 29th of August. We have our Republican Party fundraiser at Patriot Gun Range Day at the Holly Gun Range. $20 a fire. Just bring your $20 and you can have fun. The armament shop is going to be there. They're going to bring extra ammo. You can bring your own weapons. I do believe Jesse Snyder at the Holly Gun Range doesn't prefer that you bring shotguns, but you can bring everything else. And after you get done firing, if you want to partake in Curmudgeon's Honeymead Winery, they're going to have beverages out there. You just can't fire after you drink because, as we all know, guns and alcohol don't mix, right? And then for our last announcement is September 26th, Coryell County Republican Party has our annual fish fry at the Texas Station Event Center in Gatesville. It starts at 6 p.m. And we got two speakers. Senator Pete Flores is going to speak, and our new Republican Party of Texas chairwoman, her name is Dorinda Randall. She is going to speak also. She just got elected to the Republican Party of Texas. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to have silent auctions and everything else that goes with that. All right. Thank you all very much for those announcements. And then let's go. 8:16. Wow. We eat up a lot of time doing that. But like I was saying earlier in previous podcasts, last night we went to the West Side Conservative Coalition in Parker Heights. We have 21 members show up, right? We had close to 40 people present. That is due to the hard work of conservatives to get people involved because they care about their community. Like I say, you get involved and you stay involved because that's the only way we win. And Coppers Cove is 47% Democrat, and the rest of our county altogether is 90%, 70% Republican. So we need to win back more, and we'll push our averages up. We can do it. We just got to stay involved and work steadily and get it done. They're doing it in Bell County and other places around the country. We can do it here too. All right. Keep Texas red. Keep Coryell County red. All right. So that's enough of that, right? Thank y'all, everyone that's still here. Don't forget to click a like for the episode. All right. So let's see. What am I doing? 6,000. I got 6,000 kilobits a second, which is pretty good. Frames per second. Okay, so I'm living. No packet loss. All right. So let me go here. So the first thing I want to talk about is, like I said, loose lips can sink ships. All right. So President Biden lost his court case that he was trying to prevent. What's his name? The special counsel that did his classified document mishandling on him, and through his ghostwriter and stuff, right? So the problem is it has a distinct image on how Joe Biden was. And like I said earlier, how the 25th Amendment should have been enforced on him because of how he was. And that also he should have been prosecuted. But what's his name? Was it Douglas Hur? Let me see. I can't remember his name. Hold on. Oh, Robert Hur. Okay, Robert Hur. Okay, so this is how it goes. All right. Like I said, this is the only thing I get to read. Everything else is on here. I got 2 pieces of bit on this one. I got this, and then I got a couple paragraphs from the New York Post, and I'll put these 2 together. This is ridiculous. Former President Joe Biden, his recordings from interviews with his memoir ghostwriter obtained during Special Counsel Robert Hur's classified documents investigation have been released to the public in about 2 hours and so of recordings. I mean, I haven't listened to them yet. I want to listen to some of this stuff, right? It might put me to sleep, though. After a months-long fight from Biden's attorneys to block the release of the tape, they abandoned their lawsuit, calling for a dismissal Friday, in which the judge accepted on Monday, which was yesterday. The plaintiff, Mike Howe, formerly with the think tank Heritage Foundation and now with the Oversight Project, has fought for more than 2 years to obtain the material from through a FOIA request. That is Freedom of Information Act, right? Or Open Records request. Arguing that the public has an interest in reviewing the recordings and transcripts on which Hur based his decision. The Oversight Project published hours of recording from Biden's 2016-2017 conversations with his Promise Me Dad book, Mark Zoneter, in which the former vice president frequently pauses, because this is before he became president. The former vice president frequently pauses, speaks haltingly, and struggles to recall events, reinforcing special counsel Robert Hur's characterization in his report. Quote, Joe Biden didn't want these tapes to come out, but now they have. After 2 years of painful delay, there is no joy in Bidenville today. Robert Hur and Merrick Garland's decision to give Biden a free pass for keeping and disclosing classified information must now be re-examined from top to bottom. That was Jeff Clark from the Oversight Project. The House Judiciary Committee announced there were 2 hours and 45 minutes of recordings released. Hur investigated Biden's handling of classified documents dating from his time as vice president in the Obama administration and as U.S. Senator from Delaware. He declined to pursue criminal charges because he had concluded prosecutors could not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Biden willfully attained or disclosed the material. Full stop, right there. You are not allowed to possess any classified information outside of a SCIF or a secure environment unless it's been declassified or if you have authorization to. The only person that can declassify information is the President of the United States. He has ultimate declassification authority, right? Other than that, you have to have, it has to be declassified before you be able to keep it up. That's why, what's his name? See, I'm having problems now. The professor or the penguin, but he is on probation for that. He hasn't been sentenced yet. But you have Mike Pence. He got caught with some. You have other people that got caught with classified information. Joe Biden did, even though he was president when they caught it. But he had took the information home when he was vice president and when he was U.S. Senator, which he is not authorized to do whatsoever. It had to be declassed, be kept in an unclassed facility. All right. So we'll get to the other part with the New York Post in just a second. In his report, Hur wrote that Biden's conversations were painfully slow and said Biden had struggled to remember events and straining at times to read and relay his own notebook entries. Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited during his recorded interviews with the ghostwriter in 2017 and his interview with our office in 2023. That was Robert Hur. He also said, in shockingly reasoning for the lack of prosecution, that Biden would appear in a jury to a jury to be a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory, rather than an intentional violator of classified document laws. He is the president of the United States in 2023. If he was that uncognitive, is probably the best way to put it, Merrick Garland should have initiated the 25th Amendment and had him temporarily moved for office and have him submitted for examination. Okay, he can do that for 30 days. Kamala Harris will be the acting president. He'll he can come back, and if they do it again, he can be removed permanently from office. Okay, they didn't. I don't know what's worse, degraded Kamala Harris. Degraded Joe Biden or Kamala Harris as acting president. I don't know. I don't know which one would be worse, right? But it should have happened. The 25th Amendment should have been implemented totally at that point in time. The interview recordings show instances where Biden takes long pauses, forgets names, and can't recall specific days. Biden warned Zonaker while discussing a 2014 Situation Room meeting, quote, "Some of this may be classified, so be careful," and added, "I'm not sure it isn't marked classified, but you know, if you think it's classified, you shouldn't be showing it to an uncleared person, which you shouldn't be in your house in the first place, right?" So I'm going to go to the New York Post. Hold on just a second. I got it marked right here. It starts off with, let's see if on the tapes, Biden can be heard discovering classified material in real time as he leafed through the paper with Zonaker nearby. Quote, "The next thing I have here is, this is classified," Biden said, unquote, Biden says in another snippet. The former president also described potentially classified White House meetings with Zonaker, according to CBS News, which first reviewed the tapes, including, quote, "a big meeting with the CIA and everyone," unquote, quote, "a big meeting in the Situation Room," unquote, and, quote, "a long meeting where a DOD briefing with the POTUS," that would be Barack Obama, unquote. And in a 2010, October 10th, 2016, he was vice president. Biden brags that he retained notes without anyone being aware. Quote, "I have extensive notes over this period of time. They didn't know I have this," quote, unquote. He said, according to the outlet. Hur found that Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after leaving the vice presidency, but refused to charge the sitting president because he would likely present himself to the jury as he did when he interviewed a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. The Oversight Project argued that the extent of Biden's disclosure of classified information is much more egregious than previously disclosed by her. Quote, "At several points in the tape, Biden references the information he is reviewing is likely classified, which is followed by significant audio redactions for classified information." They blocked the tape out. Okay, the group said in a statement, "This was not just once or twice. These classified redactions cover significant portions of the audio released. The listener shouldn't overlook the audio redactions because those redactions are intended to cover the disclosure of classified information." So they don't want the public to know the classified information, but if you read the book, right, your promised dad or my promise, whatever they call it, right, is probably disclosed in the book also. He should have been prosecuted, and he should have been impeached and removed from office. All right, he could have got people killed. Could you imagine if someone? It showed there was a video showing Hunter Biden in the garage of Joe Biden with all the classified documents stuff back in the back of the garage where everybody could get their hands on it. Not Joe Biden, but Joe Carpenter doing a renovation project down in the garage could have like stumbled on like, oh wow, look at this stuff. Wow, I can't believe this actually happened. Look at what this person said. Well, you know what? I could probably make a couple of mil by selling these documents. That is what the kind of thing that could have happened with the intentional retention of those classified documents by Joe Biden had. I mean, you can like me or not, that man should have went to jail. I mean, you may talk about, I know the liberals will probably stumble across this at some point, talk about how President Trump had classified documents in it, but he declassed his stuff before they left the White House. He can say, I declass all this and take it with him. That's why he wasn't prosecuted down in Miami because of this stuff, because he had that authority as president of the United States. You have no authority on that as a vice president, and you sure don't have that authority as a U.S. senator. I don't care. I don't care at all. He should have been prosecuted, and everybody that knew he possessed that classified information should have been prosecuted also, especially Merrick Garland. And Robert Hur playing the sympathy card to not prosecute Joe Biden because he's an elderly man with a failing memory, should be disbarred and never used again in the confines of the U.S. government ever. Because what Joe Biden did could have got Americans killed. He could have got his family killed. He could have got Barack Obama killed, regardless of what you think of the man. He's still president. But this guy retained classified information, especially of a meeting that involved the President of the United States and the Department of Defense. That would probably be Leon Panetta at that point, I think. Why do we tolerate this stuff? And right now we have a very contentious election going on where they want to take back the House and the Senate to hamstring the President of the United States. You don't reelect Republicans, you will never see the light of day on this stuff ever again at all. Okay? Joe Biden is a corrupt, criminal person, should have never been president. And I'm not even going to the election stuff that happened in the 2020 election. He should have been prosecuted and removed from office, impeachment and conviction, or the 25th Amendment, or both, right? Unbelievable that we tolerate stuff like this to happen. Because Democrats only consider one thing, power. That's all they want. They don't care who's in charge because they'll disregard the people in charge and do their own thing. All right. Calm down, James. Calm down. Hold on. Now we're going to go to just the news. All right. So the Congressional Committee with Jason Smith is he issued three with the House Means and Ways Committee, Ways and Means Committee, issued three subpoenas Friday or yesterday, for three organizations that were nonprofits with links to the Chinese Communist Party, and they are nonprofits, and they were used to influence elections here inside the United States. In regards to Neville Roy Singham, he's a techie guy, he's a communist, he's an American citizen, and he lives in Shanghai, okay, in China, right? Where we can't get to them. So, Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith from Missouri, has issued subpoenas to 3 tax-exempt organizations tied to socialist megadonor Neville Roy Singham, an American multimillionaire, should be a billionaire, living in Shanghai with ties to the Chinese Communist Party. The subpoenas have been served. The spokesperson from Smith's office told Just the News on Breakthrough News, the People's Forum, and Tricontinental, all 3 of which are funded, at least in part, by Singham himself. The subpoenas come after nearly a year of the committee's attempt to get answers from the 3 nonprofit organizations regarding foreign influence in U.S. nonprofits. For months, Ways and Means Committee has been investigating how the Chinese Communist Party has been taking advantage of our country's laws through its tax-exempt sector to sow chaos and division here in the United States. Smith said in a statement, public reporting has traced hundreds of millions of dollars from Neville Roy Singham, a tech mogul living in Shanghai, that was funneled through a web of shell companies and donor advised funds that reveal the true source of the money before it reaches organizations. The subpoenas request documents showing whether the organizations have received or transmitted funds connected to foreign nationals or foreign entities, contracts between those nationals or entities, documents and communications between employees and Singham or foreign nationals about the organization. 3 nonprofits connected to Singham, Breakthrough News, Tricontinental, and the People's Forum, have stonewalled the Ways and Means Committee. That ends now, Smith said in a statement. These subpoenas will compel the production of the documents they have withheld for months and will help expose how America's tax laws and charitable sector have been exploited to advance the Chinese Communist Party influence operations inside the United States. The American people deserve to know whether the CCP has exploited America's tax-exempt sector to advance our agenda. These subpoenas will allow the Ways and Means Committee to identify the networks that exploit our tax laws and further expose the urgent need for legislation to close those loopholes for good. Just the News reached out for those nonprofits. Nobody responded. The congressional subpoenas are the latest move against Singham, who is also under federal investigation by a grand jury in New York for possible violations of tax and foreign agent laws. Because if you are a lobbyist for a foreign government, you have to be registered as a foreign agent. Just the News previously reported that Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche authorized the grand jury to issue subpoenas as part of an investigation into Singham and his financial network. The investigation was launched by U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton for the Southern District of New York. Jay Clayton is about to be the next DNI, and Jamie McDonald is supposed to take his place. The grand jury revelation came shortly after Just the News investigation into People's Forum. At the time, the Center to Advance the Security for America, is called CASA, has filed a complaint with the IRS seeking a probe into the organization's finances. Just the News has not at this time been able to verify whether that subpoena has been personally served to Singham. People's Forum Incorporated is a tax-exempt fiscal sponsor of many progressive and radical organizations, including Vincemos Brigade, which engaged in demonstrations, also crossing the threshold from protected speech to elected activity, including many of which have been resulted in arrests, violence against police officers, and interference with federal immigration enforcement. James Fitzpatrick told Just the News that. So when you're looking at these huge ICE demonstrations, those are paid protesters. A lot of them come from this Versos tax-exempt nonprofit. Okay? Quote, we believe the many potential illegal activities. Hold on just a second here. Okay. We believe these potential illegal activities from People's Forum has engaged in our grounds for potential revocation of their tax-exempt charitable status. That was breaking news. Someone was concerned that Space Force is monitoring Pickaxe Mountain. That's their job. In addition to the House Ways and Means Committee in New York, last April, Senator Chuck Grassley, chairman of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee, sent a letter to Kash Patel and then Attorney General Pam Bondi requesting an investigation into whether the People's Forum violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act by not registering as a foreign agent based on its alleged connections to China. All right? So maybe, just maybe, the People's Forum can be dealt with and Mr. Singham can be effectively defamed. Okay? This is ridiculous. What was that? Wow. Talking about people with diminished capacity, I'm looking at breaking news. Representative Jim Clyburn, he's like the third-ranking person in the Democrat Party of South Carolina. He's like 80-something years old, right? The headline says, Representative Jim Clyburn of South Carolina said he did not know until recently what ChatGPT is. See, we have old people like that still are in the Congress and making laws in our country that should not even be in that capacity. They should be fishing or spending time with grandkids. That, if you don't know what ChatGPT is or what Gemini or Claude or Gronk, and you're serving at the highest levels of government, there's something wrong with you. You know what? Well, I would say the president of the United States, he knows because he actually uses TikTok. This is crazy. That should not be allowed to persist. And he's running for re-election. Really. The South Carolina government had a chance to redistrict him out of office, and they didn't exercise their chance to do that. That's not Governor McMaster's that did that. It was the legislature that did that, and they should be effectively dealt with also, right? But yeah, Jim Clyburn, until recently, did not know what ChatGPT was. All right. Let's see what else. What I was looking for was about President Trump in Michigan. Is that better? Let's look for the other one. I'm looking for the mail-in ballot one. Hold on just a second. Give me a second. Okay. So the president is going to ask the Supreme Court to rule on his mail-in ballot executive order. The Justice Department asked the Supreme Court on Monday to weigh in on his dispute with 23 states regarding President Donald Trump's mail-in ballot executive order. The executive order issued in March of this year directs the Department of Homeland Security to compile lists of eligible voters nationwide on a state-by-state basis and to seek to block the Postal Service from delivering absentee ballots to voters not on state-approved rolls. Solicitor General John Sauer, he's the government's lawyer that argues cases before the Supreme Court, argued that a lower court's injunction on the order was premature and extraordinary because it blocks federal officials from implementing Trump's order that merely aims to promote election integrity. Quote, the executive order functions only to direct the president's subordinates to take action and lawful action to implement the president's policy objectives. By stopping the relevant agencies and officials from implementing that order with respect to the November 2026 federal election, the injunction operates as an improper intrusion by the federal court into the workings of a coordinate branch of the government. The request comes after 24 states sued to block the order. They were Democrat states. And a federal judge in June barred the Trump administration from implementing the provisions related to mail-in ballots and the state citizenship list for the November midterms in other states that sued. An appeals court upheld the lower court ruling over the weekend, and the states argued that the president's order was unconstitutional because the U.S. states and Congress have the authority to set election rules and not the president. Sauer argued urged the Supreme Court to get involved, stating that if the administration later wins the case, then the damage would already be done. The harm to voter integrity is the election, if the government's policy is not in place, cannot be undone, even if the government later prevails on the merits of the case. All right. It brings up a good point that if they don't do anything about it and they have the election, and then the Supreme Court says, yes, the executive order can maintain place, but the appeals court says, no, you can't enforce the order. The results that occurred during the election cannot be reversed. Like people say, Biden illegally won the election in 2020. And they weren't able to prove it before. Well, they were able to prove it, but they couldn't get it to heard and exercised on before Inauguration Day. After the president was sworn in, there ain't nothing you can do about it because it took so long for this election case to be heard that's why they need to speedily see this. But sometimes lawyers intentionally stonewall so time runs out and nothing can be done. All right. The next one is John Thune. He's against holding up the senatorial 37-day paid vacation because the Save America Act has not been passed yet. He was basically telling the president, you find the votes, we'll get it passed. But other than that, we're going on vacation. Well, if Mike Lee has anything to say about it, there will be a roll call vote to go with that also. So everybody is on record of voting aye or nay on whether they want to go on vacation or not. All right. What do we got on time? It's already 8:49. All right. Let me take a break for a second, drink some tea here. Thank y'all for tuning in. And please, if you don't mind, click that like button, that thumbs up button. And if you're not already a follower of the podcast, click that, okay? And if my broadcast is coming in choppy, let me know. I got hiccups now. But let me know because I have a degraded internet right now, right? I'm on cellular Wi-Fi. Okay, so let's read about the one about President Trump. Okay, he was in Michigan yesterday, talking about how the economy is going. President Trump traveled on Monday yesterday, Monday afternoon, right, to the General Motors Milford Proving Ground facility in Michigan, touting his second administration strides into making the auto industry one of the most important industries that suffered under the previous policies. For decades, the auto workers and manufacturers of this state were sold out and betrayed by globalist politicians and corrupt special interests who let other countries steal your jobs, pillage your factories, and pillage the crown jewels of America from Detroit to all over all over our country. Under Trump's trade policies, including Section 232, auto and part tariffs, and broader forced labor measures, companies such as General Motors are shifting production of certain vehicles stateside, which is awesome because it brings higher paid jobs here. It's amazing what tariffs are doing for GM. The president said GM also announced in June, as part of a $4 billion U.S. investment to expand domestic manufacturing in response to tariffs. Current gas-powered Chevy Blazer production at the Ramos Azrite plant in Mexico is scheduled to end September 30th, which is 2 months from now. The refreshed 2028 Blazer will begin production in the second quarter of 2027 at the Spring Hill plant in Tennessee. For the Equinox, my daughter owns an Equinox. GM is adding a gas-powered production at its Fairfax assembly plant in Kansas, starting in mid-2027 to boost U.S. output and meet strong demand, while some Mexican production continues for other markets. We're building more auto factories and more plants anytime in our history. Other manufacturers have announced multi-billion-dollar U.S. investments in factory expansions, with the White House officials citing over $20 billion in Michigan investments and more than 1,600 related jobs as evidence of America First. Domestic sales of key U.S. vehicles, particularly pickups and SUVs, having remained robust, keeping up with American factories busy and supporting jobs. GM raised its full year 2026 profit forecast for the second time this year after strong second quarter results, citing solid customer demand in North America and its lineup of pickups and SUVs, along with improved margins. Trump and White House officials have highlighted that the working families tax cuts projected about 170,000 manufacturing jobs in Michigan, a part of a broader national impact that sustained nearly 6 million American jobs and preserved significant economic output and wages over all 50 states. Regulatory resets under the Trump administration has restored greater flexibility to automakers by easing strict fuel economy emissions and requirements that previously constrained product choices and raised costs. All right. In December last year, the administration reset the corporate average fuel economy, which is called CAFE, right? Standards at levels that can be met with conventional gasoline and diesel vehicles, projected savings of nearly $1,000 on average and $109 billion for Americans families over 5 years. In February, the EPA took what it called the single largest deregulatory action in U.S. history by rescinding the Obama-era endangerment finding and eliminating federal greenhouse gas emission standards for light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles, with claimed taxpayer savings exceeding $1.3 trillion with a T dollars. Additional steps including California's EV mandates through a congressional joint resolution in June. That's joint resolution in June 2025 is setting civil penalties for CAFE violations to zero. In the Working Families Tax Cuts Act, giving companies more room to produce the trucks, SUVs, and hybrids that match actual customer demand while investing in domestic capacity. The administration may expand or extend existing offsets to reward higher U.S. and USMCA content in vehicles and tighten rules. Okay, and what else? Because we're almost out of time here. What else got eliminated? The ability of states to enforce. I think it was mainly California, or it was in the climate control bill from the Biden administration, where it allowed manufacturers to make it illegal to repair certain parts of your own car, i.e., emissions. Right? They took that requirement out and made it possible for people to repair their own emission systems in their cars and in their cars itself. Also, they eliminated the stupid little button right here. It says when you're stopped for more than like 15 seconds, your engine turns off. I wish I could just yank that thing out. Also, the president talked about yesterday that that the ability for U.S. car makers to make ultra subcompact vehicles inside the United States will be possible. All right. But like he said, it's not like I would ever want to drive one of them, and that the Secret Service probably would never allow me to be in one of those vehicles. But the process is the prospect of people that don't need to buy 50, 60, 70,000 vehicles and need all that extra space in them will be possible for Americans now. They already make them around the world, but they're illegal inside the United States or not. They're regulated through the transportation department and not being able to do it. Now they will be able to, all right? Which is a good thing, right? Man, we didn't even get to the rest of it. Amazing what happens when you don't have paper. You got to go over what it says. A couple of things before I hit the 9 o'clock hour. If you go to foxnews.com, you'll see Scott Bassett issued sanctions, I believe, on 80 different other companies that are doing work with, I believe, Iran, international companies. The New Jersey governor knew about the voter rolls before President Trump actually spoke about them a week and a half ago. 3 teens have been arrested in Seattle in that shooting that happened Sunday, and they were teenagers, and it was gang related. All right. In the New York Post, it has a deal in there about Melania and Barron Trump. They've received threats through Iran on them, unfortunately. So that means their security is going to go up a lot higher. And then also the vote for Jay Clayton for DNI is imminent. Okay, so that will be happening probably sometime soon. All right. So that is the JP8 report for the day. Scott, no chop here. Okay, good. Did you enjoy the JP8 report today, Scott? Please tell me yes or no. All right. I think it turned out pretty good. I missed my paper though. So yeah, thank y'all everybody that actually listened today and stayed in. Don't forget to click that like button and give me that follow. Click the bell, scroll to the bottom, click follow. All right, it's easy to do. So easy, an Army guy can do it. And then with the like button, if you're watching this on video on demand, because we're at the end, the first thing I always do when I watch a podcast is I always click the like button, no matter what, especially on Rumble. Always on Rumble, always click that like button, no matter what. All right, and if they screw up royally, you can always take the like button back, but I don't unless I need to. Okay, so I will be back here tomorrow morning at 6:30. Hopefully, everything will be normal again. Um, Thank you, Scott, for that. Hopefully, you gave me a like also. I would appreciate that. But I will be back here for the JP's morning brief at 6:30 Central tomorrow, or JP8 report at 8 a.m. Central tomorrow. Sean Farish, I'm not doing a raid today because of my internet. Sean Farish is in for Dan Bongino. So go to the Dan Bongino Show channel and have a laugh for about an hour and a half because he is great. And I'm so glad that Dan Bongino hired him for the Bongino Report. He is a very good addition. His show starts August 17th on the Bongino Report channel. It's going to be great. All right. So thank you all very much for tuning in today. And this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.